Word choice and descriptions may be triggering to some viewers. Discretion is recommended. Back in 1999, you may have seen a broadcast of a video no one could make sense of that was sent in anonymously. I'll paint the scene. The video opens calmly with a young boy around 11 or 12 smiling at the camera. This is what he says. 19/3/1999. Everything is going okay. My sister hasn't attacked me yet, so that's... He gets cut off by a huge screech from behind him. He starts to frantically finish the video. Never mind. 19/3/1999. Remember! He gets cut off again when a shadowy claw grabs his face, causing him to drop the camera, ending the video in static. Just before the camera drops, you can see a pair of glowing yellow eyes. No one knew what to make sense of the video, so many people just shrugged it off as CGI. That is, until 7 years later. On May 7th, 2006, a woman in Washington, Somerville, by the name of Marion Roster, called 911, claiming her son was, quote, trying to kill his sister. When asked if anything was wrong with her son, she stated, and I quote, his eyes are glowing and his hands turn to claws. I don't know what's wrong. He looks like a demon. Please send someone. End quote. Now, you may think describing your own son as a demon is going a bit far. But no, she actually said this. When the police got here, some footage was caught on the police body cam. The footage shows a boy who should have been only about 17 or 18, who looked as huge as a bear. His hands were long and spindly with sharp nails growing out of them. The boy's eyes glowed like fire. He looked sickly and thin, his clothes barely hanging on like a clothing line. His face was thin and sunken in. His hair was greasy, long, and unkempt. He screeched and tried to attack the police. They shot him, making him scared. He ran down the hall and into the hall bathroom, in which the two siblings shared. But when the police got there, they saw nothing but a hand sinking into the drain of the sink as the boy disappeared into the pipes. The police searched the sewers, but they could find no sign of the boy. So they focused on finding out what happened. While investigating his room, they found a box of tapes and an old camera. The tapes were each dated, some from as far back as 1986, the year the boy was born. The latest being the night before the attack. The first batch of videos was 10 videos taken over the course of 5 years. These videos were taken by the father of the boy before he left his mother after giving birth to a daughter. All except for the last video play out mostly the same way. The father staring at the boy for 1 hour before a shadow crosses over the screen, making the camera go static. Next thing you knew, the lights were out and the camera was on night vision. The room was empty except for the father, who ran into the bathroom. A few minutes passed before the boy came back on screen. The sun was thin, like the police had found him. His eyes glowing, his arms and legs long and spindly like a spider. And we see the son back. He wanders around until the lights come back and we see him back in his seat normally. The father comes out of the bathroom with claw marks on his face and the camera turns off. Last video was perhaps a letter to the mother that never got to her. and I quote, "He's a monster. He's not normal. No one believes me. You have to. I can't deal with this anymore. I can't deal with another demon spawn. That girl will be the end of me. I can't stay in this house anymore." A noise makes the father turn off the camera. The police still didn't understand what was happening, and neither did the mother. Mother was not present for any of the events caught on camera, and had no memory of coming to her home no memory coming home to the father injured. Then the next video was from the son. In 1995, a video was made. The son made it. This is how the video went. Quote, 15/6/1995. My babysitter tried to kill me yesterday. I'm scared. I don't know why she did it. I don't know what I did wrong. She keeps hurting me. A distant screech made the boy turn around. He looked genuinely terrified. 15/6/1995. Remember, the video cuts out with a shadowy hand over the boy's face. After seeing the video, the mother and sheriff recalled there was a babysitter who went missing after taking care of her son for the 4th time. This raised even more questions for the case that had already been closed for 10 years. After looking through many of the other tapes that were similar to this one, we came across a tape that everybody recognized. The video that aired on the news, the video they opened the story with. This is the first video that mentions his sister instead of the babysitter. At this time, the girl would have only been 8 years old. There was no way she was able to hurt him. And yet, by the way he phrases it as, "Everything's going okay today. My sister hasn't attacked me yet," implies that the girl had attacked him before. So, like any sheriff would do, they went to ask the sister questions. AKA me. I'm Lucy Roster. My brother is, as everyone calls him in the city, the monster. His real name is Derek, and for the longest time I had no idea what was wrong with him. I'll tell you all that I told the sheriff. The first time anything like that had happened that I can remember was about a week before the tape claiming I had tried to kill Derek. For one, I hadn't. 2, I was in my bedroom playing on my own, while my mother was on a trip to the store. I heard a scream. Derek was screaming, calling for someone named Albert. He claimed I was hurting him and he needed Albert to stop him. I stepped out of my room in confusion, only to watch my brother turn into the monster that my father had caught on tape. I locked myself in my room, listening as he created destruction behind the door. When it was over, I stepped out and he was asleep. But everything was fine. Me being 8, I thought I imagined it. But as the days went on, it became routine for me to come out of my room and hear my brother scream for the man named Albert. I would lock myself in my room until he stopped. Neither me nor anyone in the town knew anyone by the name of Albert. It wasn't our father's name. Our father's name was Novak. The police did some digging and found a similar case that happened a few years back. An old man who lived in a retirement home nearby was named Albert. He always claimed a spirit or demon was haunting him. Everyone thought he was crazy. One day, he found his way into a tree and jumped off, breaking all of his bones and dying later in the hospital. But none of this explained why Derek was calling out for someone and claiming that he was being hurt. Solving no other leads, the police turned back to me. I recounted more events. More were the same until 2004. The fits, as the police referred to them, became more violent and more instant. My brother would slam into the door trying to break it down, to the point where I had to block the door with my dresser. As the attacks continued, there were some times where he was able to get inside my room and attack me, clawing at my face and my clothing. He'd eventually retreat and fall asleep before he went back to normal. My injuries would slowly fade, so by the time my mother got home, I had no proof of the attack. The police couldn't understand how any of this was happening, how any of this was possible. But of course, they had seen the monster. They had to believe me. In the end, the police dropped the case after a few months, not knowing what to do and not being able to find him. The police only concluded that whatever was happening to him, or rather, already happened to him, altered his mind, making him hallucinate, putting him into a delusional state. I still get looks on the street, my new job. Me and my mother moved across town, and I still live in the same town. As far as I am aware, there was no sign of my brother after the incident. But sometimes, if I walk past a sink, I swear I can hear him calling out to me from the pipes.
Hello! I am a mess because it's late and I decided to film this on my phone because I'm lazy. Thank you for watching this reading. I have a Wattpad now that the link will be right here, and you can go check that out. You can actually you can read this story and the previous story in this series. It's a series now. This is going to be series in the horror collection, horror story collection, as it is called on my Wattpad. I will be posting more stories, and I actually have a lineup of a few stories that I want to start posting over there. Plus, there will be more horror stories that I will always first post here, other than the Heart Eater, which obviously I didn't have the account before I did the reading. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more, then you can click one of these two videos, or the video up here, or this video, and you can subscribe by clicking this button, or going down and go down and hit like button if you enjoyed. All of these links will be in the description below, and yeah. Make sure to hit the bell to notify you when I upload a video. Yeah, I'm really tired, so I'm gonna go. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed and got a little spook. Goodbye.